Welcome back. Last week, all I did was pan, and I did 15 pans and got 0.16 grams. So I'm at a different spot, and I want to find out which spot is richer. So I'm going to do another 15 pans and compare the results and see which spot's better. You can see we have an inside bend here, and then on that inside bend, we've got this root ball here blocking the flow. And right there, between there and there, I mean, that's the hot spot. I mean, there's good gold right there. And I'm gonna try along the same bank down a little ways. Now, I have come downstream previously and done test pans, and I do know for sure that there's some really good areas within here. But I'm honestly thinking that that whole bend, that whole inside bend closer to the bank is probably pretty loaded. So let's start right here and let's see what we can get. I mean, you can kind of see some eddies right there, but as the flow's coming down through here, this is where I'm going to start. I've got this big flat rock here. It could be kind of like a riffle, and so I'm thinking I'm going to start right here. See, we got some swirling going on right here, so this is where we're going to start. But I know that this whole bank's going to be pretty good no matter what. This is our first piece of information for the day. This is the very first pan I did. And you can see there are quite a few specks of gold. So I definitely want to stay where I am and do some more investigation. Every pan I do, I'm going to take home about this much black sand, and I'm just going to splash everything, including the gold, into the bucket. But I know for sure that there's a decent amount of gold in here that I didn't get out when I tapped everything up. So here's where our first pan was, and I'm going to go ahead and do a second pan right here, get an idea if going deeper is a thing. Going a little bit deeper. Wow, actually, God, I can't even see those with the naked eye, really. There's still a ton of colors. Got that one decent one. And there's still quite, oh my, look how small this stuff gets. Wow. Here, let's zoom out so you can see how invisible it is. Invisible. I can see a couple pieces, and that's it. And I'm pretty close to the pan. So pan number 2 was not better than pan number 1. So let's find a different hole. All right, let me walk upstream and see what this spot looks like. Oh, the water's really high. All right. Okay, where's my spot? I think, yeah, this was my spot right here, where I'm standing, where I initially had my multiple grams. So maybe I'm gonna try just barely downstream from that, close to the bank. Pan number 3, it's got quite a few specks in it too. I'm not sure if it's better or worse than the first spot or not, but wow, that reflection's bad, isn't it? From up here, can you even tell there's gold? Just barely. Pan number 4's got quite a few specks, but as usual, super small. But yeah, that might be the best pan. I think that's the best pan so far. Looking good. All right, let's keep working that same spot then. Not many people would look at a pan like that and say, oh, that's a great pan. But that's a great pan. standing in the middle of the creek here, so you can kind of see. Right there was my first 2 pans. Not too bad on the flour gold. And then right here were my second 2 pans, a little bit upstream. I think these were a little bit better than those. So let's do another pan from over here. And I think what I'm gonna do is scoot over just a little bit. This was the first hole. Let's go right about there and see if it's better or worse. Pan number 5. A lot of specks, but they're sure not getting any bigger, are they? But there's still over 100. Yeah, there's my biggest one. Hole number 1 was right there, and it was decent. Then up here, we got hole number 2 and hole number 3. Now on hole number 2, the second pan was better than the first pan. Hole number 3 was decent. Let's go 1 pan deeper on hole number 3. So pan number 6 has my biggest flake right there, but it also has a pretty significant speck count. I mean, well over 100, I think, but super, super small. I think I know where I want to take pan number 7 from, and that's going to be right here where we were before. So second hole of the day, third hole of the day, and the second pan out of each one of these holes had the highest speck count. So I'm going to go ahead and do a third pan from that spot right there and see what it's got in it. I mean, this whole shovel is almost pure black sand. That's crazy. Pan number 7 has a decent amount of specks, but they're way smaller than you think, and it's not better than the previous pan, so let's move on. By the way, if you're going to be panning all day, save your back. Go to Walmart, get a stool like this that folds up and fits in your backpack, and then you can just chill and pan all day without really hurting your back. All right, let's go back over here and figure this out. So 3 pans deep right here is not an improvement. 2 pans deep in both of these spots was great. So I'm gonna go ahead and move downstream to right there and dig another hole. So pan number 8, I'm just taking material right off the surface, and I think I got my biggest piece and my biggest speck count. So let's take a look. Pan number 8. There's a lot of specks in pan number 8. And that's my biggest piece of the day right there. So that top layer of material seems to be the best, close to the bank. Let's keep going. Okay, here's where I started, had a decent pan. Then I moved up there, have done well so far. And since it's the first 2 pans deep, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the first pan off the top and connect the dots and see if the gold continues. Okay, there's our second hole, there's our third hole, there's our fourth hole, and so my 5th hole is right here. So I'm gonna do a hole right here and see what we can find. Alright, what's pan number 9 look like on the speck count? Hey, that's a pretty good speck count right there. That's pretty good. I'll take that. Was that 50 specs? Somewhere in there. So I've been panning from here all the way down to here. Here's where I started. I've almost connected the dots, so let me go right there in front of that rock and do a pan and see what it looks like. Pan number 10. All right, let's see here what we got in pan number 10, and I think it's pretty good. That's a lot of specs in pan number 10. That's nice. Nice pan. Well, I apologize if the sound is jacked up since I dropped my phone in the creek. But pan number 10, I think it's my best one so far. So pan number 10 was right here before this little rock. I guess it's a rock, flat rock right here. So backside of the rock was good, but this is my best pan right here. So I'm gonna go a little deeper for pan number 11 and see how it looks. Pan 11 is not better than pan 10. I mean, it's still got a lot of specs, but going deeper does not get you more gold. Let's zoom in and take a look. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. I mean, it's not more gold, but it's still a decent amount of specs. Yeah, and then there's my decent ones. I'm just gonna move downstream again instead of going deeper. I'm doing my best to tap it all up each time, but I know that a decent amount of gold is gonna be back here in all of this black sand that I'm saving and taking all of it home from all 15 pans. Pan 10 and 11 came out of that hole right there, and pan 10 was better than pan 11. So pan 12, I'm gonna go to right here. There's some bigger rocks here, but let's see if pan 12 is better than 10 and 11. I mean, we're getting almost identical result. Good spec count of super small gold. There you go, 5x. It's pretty good. Those sure are some giant nuggets right there, huh? Water's actually moving pretty good today. And it's deep. Well, let's take a look here. All right. So we started right there, worked our way down, and right there is where we did our last pan. So I'm gonna do another pan right there in the same spot. Right there. Pan number 13, similar result. Good spec count, really small gold. See, oh, there's some all the way over there too. All right, 2 more pans. So let's try and get some more information here. So I know that there's good spec counts from there all the way down to right there. What I don't know for sure yet is how far this way does it continue. So I'm going to go ahead and do pan number 14. Let's try right here. Let's do pan number 14. Pan 14. Still got some flour. Similar spec counts. So, I mean, this streak really does go all the way from here all the way down to here. I mean, I've had good spec counts in pretty much every pan, wouldn't you say? So, pan number 15. Let's kind of do the halfway point between where we just did it and where we started earlier. Honestly, pan number 15 is probably the worst pan of the day in terms of spec count, but it's still got quite a few specs. Let's do the snuffer dump. Alright. What do we got this time? What do we got? Fair amount of mercury. I don't think it's as good as the last time. I think it'll be over 0.1 grams though. There's a fairly good look at the mercury amalgam. You can see it pretty well there. It's about as far in as I can get. There we go. That's what we got. Got a little black sand in there, but you can really see that mercury. Let's dry it out and weigh it up. Well, I think it's less than the 0.16 that I got last time, but let's weigh it up and find out. All right, let's see. .0765 grams. Is that on grams? Man, I can't keep my stuff on the right units. I can't see through this camera. Grains, penny weight, carats, troy ounces, grams. 0.152 grams. Almost exactly what I got last time. So last time I got 0.16, this time I got 0.15 in 15 pans. With some cat hair. So I did an apples to apples comparison of the previous video. There's a card at the top if you want to check that out. So both spots are comparable. I got 0.16 in 15 pans at the last spot and 0.15 grams at this spot in the same amount of material. So I'm back at that same spot, ready to work it again this week, just because I like it better and it's easier to access more material. But I appreciate you watching, so please like, subscribe, share the video, and join the Patreon, patreon.com/rookiegoldprospector, and I'll see you next time.